Hello, it's Alex and welcome to Hey Little Thrifter. Today I'm going to be talking about the books that I have acquired in November and also talking about the books that I am really hoping to get to by the end of the year. So starting off with the book haul, you will never guess what, but I have in my possession Book 4 of the Witches series by James Dark. I'm not going to cry, but it's emotional. I had recently picked up books 5 and 6 in the series, but was missing book 4 in order to get to those ones, and a very awesome and very generous booktube friend, Sandy, got in touch with me and sent me book 4, and yeah, I mean, not only is it amazing to have this book in my possession and be able to read it and carry on with the series, but the fact that someone would think of me and send this book my way is just the nicest thing ever. You know, I am really grateful and appreciative, and yeah, thank you so much, Sandy, you're amazing, and I am really looking forward to reading this one. Yeah, I think my plan is to, at some point in the hopefully not too distant future, read books 4, 5 and 6, do another review video, and then yeah, at some point in the future hopefully I can track down the last 2 books, 7 and 8, and read and review those as well. But yeah, this one, book 4, The Escape, is another hideous chapter in the Witchfinder's tale of terror, and it's going to be amazing. And not only that, but in that package was another book. It is Water Shall Refuse Them by Lucy McKnight Hardy. This is a more recent publication. I think it just came out within the last year or so, and it is described as folk horror, which is, yeah, always a key word that will prick my ears up. This one is set in Wales during the 1970s, and I believe we're following a 16-year-old girl, and yeah, this one just sounds wonderful and absolutely my cup of tea, so really looking forward to reading this. And yeah, thank you again ever so much, Sandy, for sending these books my way. You are an absolute gem. And the other few books that I got this month were some books on Kindle, and I used my $20 Amazon gift card that was part of the prize I won in the Cypher fan art contest, which I talked about a little while ago. And yeah, it was definitely going to be spent on books, let's face it, but deciding which books to buy was the hard part, and I decided to pick a few books up that had been on my radar that were available on Kindle. I got 4 books. One of them is Cirque Berserk by Jessica Guess. This is a novella that I think just came out this year, and it is basically a teenage slasher set in an abandoned amusement park, and I have already read this one. I just recently finished it and it was good. I did find it to be a bit of a mixed bag though. There were certain elements I liked and some that didn't really work for me, but it was still a pretty fun read and I'm glad I read it. And yeah, I will talk about that a bit more in my November reading wrap up soon. I also got a copy of The Resurrectionist by Rath James White. This is an extreme horror novel about someone who is able to revive people from the dead, and that person will have no memory of what happened to them. So yeah, that leads to lots of violence and sexual violence and probably trigger warnings for everything. I have been curious about this book for quite some time and was planning on tracking down an original paperback copy, but I found out that sometime after its original release there was another edition that came out, which is the author's preferred edition, and I think it has some extra story in there that wasn't in the original edition, so I figured I would pick that one up. And yeah, I think it's going to be a wild ride. Next up is Invisible Chains by Michelle Renee Lane. This is set in New Orleans and it follows a character who is a slave, and I don't know too much about the story of this one other than I think it involves supernatural and magic elements, so it seems like an interesting mix of historical fiction with these supernatural goings on. So sounds like an interesting story and I'm really looking forward to reading this one before too long. And last up for the Kindle books is Negative Space by B.R. Yeager, and I first heard about this on Lydia's channel, Typical Books. I will leave her linked below in case for some crazy reason you're not already subscribed to her, and she mentioned this in one of her upcoming horror release videos, and yeah, it definitely grabbed my attention. This is another one I don't know too much about, but I do remember some keywords that grabbed my interest, and they were teenagers, hallucinogenic drugs, suicide, and the occult. And need I say more? Quite honestly, I am 100% in for that. Sounds like my cup of bleak and weird cup of tea. So yeah, really excited about all of these books and looking forward to reading them in the not too distant future, but there are a bunch of books I want to get to by the end of the year. So yeah, the books I just mentioned will have to wait till next year probably, but we will see. And the books on my must-read list for the next month or so are books that were on my If You've Got It, Read It stack. So this was a reading challenge created by Megan and Sue over at Spinebreakers. Again, I will leave them linked below. If you're not already subscribed to them, definitely go do so. And they created at the beginning of this year a reading challenge to basically get you to read books that you already have on your shelves. So there were, I think, 24 prompts, and at the beginning of the year I selected a bunch of books to read, and I have read a good chunk of them, but I do have a handful left. And the Spinebreakers are hosting an If You've Got It, Read It challenge readathon, which is taking place, I think, the first week or two in December. I will leave the details below, and I am not necessarily going to take part in the readathon per se, but I am going to do my best to get through the rest of these books in December. So in no particular order, we have The Chrysalids by John Wyndham, science fiction classic by the author that wrote Day of the Triffids and The Midwich Cuckoos, which became the film The Village of the Damned. So yeah, he's an author I've been meaning to read for ages. It's gonna happen soon. Ghoul by Michael Slade, an 80s horror thriller set in London, I think, or at least partly in London. Anyway, it's got a blurb by Alice Cooper and it's got an amazing cover. I really enjoyed Headhunter by Michael Slade, so I'm looking forward to this one, and I'm hoping to do this as a buddy read with the lovely Regina at Regina's Haunted Library, so looking forward to this one. Charmed Life by Bernard Taylor. You know I love me some Bernard Taylor, and yeah, this is one of his I have not read yet, so I am, needless to say, looking forward to it. Then Supernatural Horror in Literature by H.P. Lovecraft. This is a wee little non-fiction book and one that should be an interesting read, hopefully. I also have The Stepford Wives by Ira Levin. It's a classic, need I say more, and I loved Rosemary's Baby, so I am looking forward to this, and it's about time I read it. And last but definitely not least, if I can even hold it, is The Stand by Stephen King. One of the prompts on the challenge was to read, I think, the longest book on your shelves, and yeah, this bad boy is it. and I have actually just started this a couple of days ago, so I'm probably only like 20 pages in, but it's a start. And yeah, I'm gonna do my best to get through this and the other books. We will see if that's even doable. I am not sure, but wish me luck. And of course the stupid thing is there are some other books in addition to those that I would like to get to soon because I'm crazy. So we will see how that plan goes, and I will keep you posted. So those are the books that I have acquired recently, along with some books I'm hoping to read soon. Do let me know if you've read any of these. I would love to hear your thoughts. Let me know how your November was. I hope it was a good one. I hope you had a good Thanksgiving if you celebrate it. I ate my body weight in food and it was great, and we're still going through the leftovers, so that is also great. Thank you ever so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it, and hopefully I will see you again in my next video. Bye!